Chiefs at 17. I'm going to take Jeremiah Love.
Oh, jeez.
Good luck, everyone.
We got to restart. So many people. Thomas, what are you doing? Mission saying no.
Yeah, boo me. I don't care. Only the greats get booed.
It's never been more over. Start it over. Delete the stream. You're not even a Chiefs fan.
No. I'm an absolute fraud. What was Pete Weber's quote, the bowler?
Hate me or love me.
You watch. That's me right now. Screw all of you.
Welcome to the opening bell of the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. Trevor Sikkema, that's Connor Rogers. I love Tyler so much for actually finding
unreal.
The Pete Weber clip for the cold open. It's absolutely beautiful. Hello to the chat. Hello, everybody in there. We know we're late. We're actually late this time. You guys normally yell at us 5 minutes before the show goes live that we're late. We were actually a little bit late this time. It was not my camera or microphone's fault. Stop spreading lies in the chat. I see you guys. We're going to read them off in a second. But what we're here to do is fix the New York Giants. Brian Daboll has been fired. Joe Schoen, still there for now. For now. Leading the head coaching search. We're going to talk about a lot of things here on this show. We're going to give you the head coaching candidates to replace Brian Daboll. We're going to take a look at the roster. We're going to tell you how we got here. Look at the records. Look at some of the moves they made, some of the moves that they didn't make. We're going to talk about the offensive philosophy for Jackson Dart and how you build around him. Look at the old draft history. Give you a free agent plan for this team. And then, of course, end it with a Giants 3-round mock draft. Connor, how we doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. The cold open really brightens my day because you and I don't see them. We just let the chef go to work and he cooks.
And he cooks.
Every time.
And he cooks.
Every single time. Never disappoints me. That was amazing. Man, you know what? Whenever you could have a guy on the hot seat lead your next coaching search that the whole fan base wants fired, you have to do it. You got to let him. You got to let him do it.
So I think there might be a reason why that's the case, because like if you fire Daboll and Schoen in the middle of the season, especially with Mara going through
that's
the health
really tough part in this
issues, it's like who else leads the search? Like they could hire one of those, like committees or whatever. Wait,
well, the Commanders and the Jets just did that.
Well, hold on. Hire us. Consultants. We'll do it.
No brainer.
We got to cancel this show. We're giving away valuable information.
With Peter's backing?
With Peter's backing, which, by the way, $100 super chat to start the show from Peter. You're absolutely insane.
New
we
microphone
love you so much.
For you.
Well, he's having me buy a new microphone. The mic's fine.
Oh, man.
For now. We love you, Peter. We're going to get to all the super chats and everything. Shout out to everybody who was watching the show. Shout out to everybody who was in the stream before the show even started. It's incredible. You guys are wonderful. We love the Addicts so much around here. Let's just start off with some of the super chats. Peter, the $100 super chat, you're the GOAT. Honestly, funding the show. Honestly, the reason why Connor and I have food on our table, to be honest with you. You said, go buy yourself a new mic and a camera, little bro. Love you. Love you too, Peter. I appreciate it. By the way, the little bro thing started last show when we were talking about, what's the most offensive thing you could say to somebody like champ, guy, sport, squirt, something like that. And little bro came up, and let me tell you, I absolutely love that we're keeping this going. This is great. This feels really good. But now they're calling you big bro, and I'm little bro.
Oh, that's not good for you.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought they were just little broing us.
I know.
I don't know. This is an inside job.
It was innocent before, and now
it's not funny.
Now we gotta fight. Now I have to fight you.
Yeah, to assert your dominance on the show, that I am not the little bro of the show. Nice try, chat. Man, squirt that's a tough one.
That's the toughest one.
If someone calls you squirt and you're not 5 years old or less, you have to punch them in the face.
Yeah. Not that we're advocating for elementary school violence, but if you're 6 years old, that's over the 5 and under line. So you at least gotta think about it here. By the way, Aiden, $20 super chat. I said, Connor, Giants fans are begging you to execute a new Mark Files 2.0 style job hit on Joe Schoen to get him canned.
Can't do it. The trick is the person has to not have gotten the job yet. Joe Schoen. Here's the problem. I liked the hire when they hired Schoen and Daboll together. I thought it was the right process. We're going to get into all of this.
Yeah.
And The issue is now, I just don't think you move on from one without moving on from the other. I think everything needs to be aligned. And I don't think we're out of the woods yet. I think there's a world that, the Giants get a little bit more time to evaluate this roster now without Brian Daboll at the helm. And maybe they do ultimately look to align a GM and a head coach after the season.
Arlo said, saw the cold open for last show. Wish I hadn't said anything at all. Playing in traffic to make up for it. If the G-men hire Joe Brady, it will complete the cycle of hiring another Bills offensive coordinator.
And where's Ken Dorsey?
Not with the Bills anymore, but
no.
Should be on the table. Should be on the table for that very reason.
Jonas, thank you for the super chat.
Yes.
Needed something to listen to. My car battery died. I'm sorry, Jonas. That's hopefully somebody gives you a jump. And you get that.
Maybe, hold on. Maybe the car battery died because they were just listening to so many episodes of NFLSE.
Takes a lot to power the podcast.
Yeah, right.
We are now like these AI companies that need to have the electrical power of a small city to operate. Have you seen that? It's not good.
No.
Like the world is going to be over before our lifetimes end.
But we'll still be live. If the world ends between 4:30 p.m. Eastern time and 6 p.m. Eastern time on a Monday and a Wednesday, we'll be live for it. So whatever's going on, you guys can still tune in while the world ends.
NFL SE live, and then counting down the asteroid strike, and we're just sitting here clapping it on.
The thumbnail is just like me like this and you like that, and it's just like the middle picture is just like a zombie apocalypse or something.
Man, thumbnails, dude, they matter a lot.
Wait, okay, now we've got a shout out for, I believe her name is Ann, not Annie, but Ann Michael May, which is Drake May's wife, who does a lot of baking TikTok videos, I have noticed. And thankfully, Patriots fans are very wholesome about it. They're very supportive.
I like that.
So, it's always like, got to make sure that my quarterback king stays well fed. Thank you, queen. Like stuff like that. So Patriots fans are having a lot of fun with that. So that makes that super chat make sense. Notorious Mo. It's a Giants fan here. Welcome back, gents. Even though Shane absolutely refuses to log off, can you talk on who you would replace him with? Please now fix my NFL franchise. Pimp
My Ride style.
Pimp My Ride style.
I watched so many episodes of Pimp My Ride after school.
The most egregious, unnecessary additions to cars that I've ever seen. By the way, I saw one in person. I saw one of those cars. I was at...
Like on accident?
No.
Oh.
So I was in California we had this like youth group trip that we went to this church and a bunch of other like church youth groups. They went for like a week and we did this sort of like, convention get together thing. And it was in Southern California. And one of the nights that we were there, somebody at the church knew somebody who had one of their vehicles pimped from the show Pimp My Ride.
By the big man himself?
What?
By the big man himself?
Yes. And I don't even remember what kind of vehicle it was, but it was the funkiest colors. It basically was a stereo on wheels. That was basically what this car was.
Yeah.
There was like a PlayStation.
There was always a
car.
Always a PlayStation. It was like the trunk pops up. Here's a 30-inch flat screen with a PS2.
A completely unnecessary and at most times unplayable PlayStation. But damn it, it was in that car.
There's a fish tank in the center console. There it is, with a koi pond in the back seat. I think I believe there's a Reddit thread on there's a Reddit thread for everything, but I'm pretty sure like those cars were junk like shortly after the show.
Oh, yeah. I immediately flipped.
Like the infrastructure of the car itself.
We have somebody in the chat who's like, I'm pretty sure the cars aren't even street legal.
Oh, street legal.
At that point, they're not even street legal.
I wonder how that works with taxes. Like the show is probably a giant scam. I hate to say it, but looking back on it, there was probably a lot of bad loopholes in that show, as cool as it was.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Mike said, no, they're not street legal.
Thank you, Officer Mike.
Joe said, yo, dog, or you need a new whip, so I put a merry-go-round in the trunk. That was Pimp My Ride. That was Pimp My... And I watched every episode.
I couldn't wait. The reveal? Oh, my God, dude. It's the most exciting time ever.
And they cut to commercial right before they knew what they
every
were doing.
time. They had me glued.
Anyways, we're here to pimp the New York Jets, of course. We're here
the Giants.
Sorry, the Giants. That one's on me.
The Jets can't be pimped, okay? The Jets need to strap on their New Balances and put one foot in front of the other.
The Jets aren't street legal, okay?
Yeah, okay. Where's Officer Mike? Oh, God.
All right. We're here to fix the New York Giants.
Pimp your franchise.
We're here to pimp your franchise.
Oh, this show is screwed. We can't even get to the intro.
Just two white kids talking about the NFL draft, here to pimp your franchise, of course. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about the New York Giants, how we got here. Let's throw up the first slide so we can get this baby back on track, hopefully. There's no chance.
No hope.
So here in 2025, year of our Lord, New York Giants are currently 2-8. Connor, what I didn't know is that they're 2-8 for the third year in a row.
Oh, yeah, it's a tradition.
Oh, man, that's not a tradition that you want to have. It's not a good one. Brian Daboll, obviously fired, now midway through the season. His record last year, 3-14. His record the year before, 6-11. And I think this is really where a lot of the conversation starts with the New York Giants. 2022 record of 9-7-1. That was the first year of both Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll, because the year before it was Joe Judge. It was a mess. They were 4-13. So they clean house and they hire those two guys. Daboll was coming over from the Buffalo Bills, and I love the hire at the time. I really did. Brian Daboll had spent time at Alabama. He had spent time with Josh Allen. At the time, he had gotten the most out of Josh Allen, and he had really been a, boots on the ground. I don't even want to say like he was the main component of it, but he was a real boots on the ground presence for what allowed Josh Allen to have a big turnover from his second to third year in the NFL, where, man, he's just been one of the best players in the league ever since. So you hire a guy like that. He goes 9-7-1 with a roster that had just gone 4-13 the year before. He wins Coach of the Year. They get into the playoffs and they win a playoff game. My goodness, it couldn't look any better. Daniel Jones was revitalized. Saquon Barkley had a career year in a lot of ways, if I remember that correctly, but it was all pointing up. And then afterwards, a little disappointing the year after, very disappointing the year after that. And obviously, we're now 3 years in a row. Pretty disappointing. Daboll, 11-33 overall record over the last 3 seasons, 20-40-1 overall during his time as head coach. And the reason why he ends up getting fired at this time, Giants have already blown 4 double-digit leads on the road this season. One of them, of course, being the game against the Chicago Bears. That was Daboll's last that he coached there. Connor, opening thoughts overall, just the Daboll tenure, maybe that 2022 season, just your thoughts there.
Yeah, I mean, this is an era that, looked really good in year 2. What he was able to get out of Daniel Jones, and he got a lot of the credit, understandably, for maximizing what they had that year. They win a road playoff game. They just constantly were punching above their weight class, and I think that's the most important aspect of looking at a coach is how much does he get out of a roster in a situation, because it's the sign of a good coach, because then you assume if the roster gets better and he remains punching above his weight class, well, now we have a average to good roster. We're going to be a great team. And it just never went that way for the Giants. There was a lot of the problem when discussing Brian Daboll is there are a lot of things when you say that what went wrong that aren't fully on him. Right. And that doesn't mean I sit here and go, how could they fire Brian Daboll? Brian Daboll had his own issues. It all kind of started with the clash with Wink Martindale.
Yeah, it really, I feel like that was the beginning of the end. Talked about a lot over the last couple of days. And I was going to bring that up during the draft history part of it, because part of why I really like Deonte Banks to this team was like the Wink Martindale connection and how Wink liked to run his defense.
And he looked best with Wink.
And all of a sudden, like, boom, okay, that's out the door. And you go, hold on, what just happened here? So, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, and the story was that, Daboll wanted to fire some of his assistants, and Wink didn't know. And when Wink found out, he was furious. And I think Dable, some of his flaws seem to be that he could be a little bit of an explosive personality, an intense personality on the sidelines, at the facility, which a lot of coaches are, right? It's just how you kind of channel those things. And you are responsible for hiring the right defensive coordinator. And when you let a guy go that was a pretty good one, or you clashed with him, Wink was out on his own. He said, I'm not going to deal with this. It's been an awful year for Shane Bowen. And the problem is you can't go, well, it's Shane Bowen's defense. Well, Brian Dable hired Shane Bowen and is in charge of Shane Bowen. And then you look at the Joe Shane side of things, there's just been too many misses. And when you give him credit for his hits, they're like in very obvious draft slots, like Malik Neighbors and Abdul Carter, and Andrew Thomas wasn't drafted by this regime. Mm-hmm. So for Dable, it feels like he's a guy that we know he's good with quarterbacks and he's hands-on with quarterbacks, and he can call an offense, but that's so different from being in charge of the entire operation. And the Giants as an entire operation had so many flaws beyond that. Weird kicking storylines, like Graham Gano's not available to kick today, and it just spirals out of control throughout a game. The defense punching below its weight class. Like this defense has a lot of talent.
Yeah.
But once again, you're the head coach of the team. You're not the offensive coordinator. So that falls with you as well. So Brian Dable, I think is better than what this operation looked like, but he's obviously far from being without blame. And I do think the final nail was that the handling of Jackson Dart started to get scary to the people at the top.
Yeah, right. I do think that was a major selling point for ownership. I'm sure that this wasn't necessarily Joe Shane's decision, because he is tied to Dable in a lot of ways. I know he didn't get let go at the same time, but I really do think that he is tied to him.
I think he's been worse than him too, by the way. That's what's very odd in all of this. I think Joe Shane has been worse at his job than Brian Dable has been worse at his.
There are some things that Shane has done well, which we'll go over some notable moves, but there are definitely some reasons we got to this place with their roster that I would agree with you. And I think I would be surprised if he is still the general manager when we get into January, but I'll get to that in a second. I agree that with Jackson Dart being in concussion protocol for the fourth time, including the preseason, it's a big issue here. And it's a little bit of a damned if you do, damned if you don't, though, right? Because we'll talk about Jackson Dart and what a good head coaching candidate would be for him to get the most out of him. But very clearly the offense was very different, and it was better when the quarterback had some sort of a rushing threat. When Jackson Dart was able to give them that sort of a spark. You're running RPOs, you're running read option, you're running QB power, those kinds of things. And Jackson Dart has been great at that over the last couple of weeks. And to be honest with you, especially if you go back to when Cam Scadaboo was in the lineup, that's the way the Giants move the ball. And if you take that away, if you force Jackson Dart to just be some straight drop back passer, read the field and throw it, then that's not who he was. That's not who you drafted, and you'd be pigeonholing him into a role as a quarterback that you wouldn't want. So I totally understand, Brian Dable's been reckless with Jackson Dart. He's getting him hurt. I get where people are coming from there, but is this not the offense? Is this not what gave you success? And I think that was probably Brian Dable's defense, is he said, well, what do you want me to do? This is the quarterback that we drafted. He is a runner and a passer. That's how you get the most out of him. So I think that Dable's lack of success, starting 2-8, 3 years in a row, no question about it. It's going to get you fired.
You can't do it.
Exactly. His personality, I think, goes into this, and how he is just somebody who wears his emotions on his sleeve. From what we've read from people who are covering the team day in and day out, he can be a little bit of a hothead. And I think those things work really well when you sort of have this us against the world mentality with your roster. But when it doesn't work out, that stuff kind of gets old pretty quickly. So the inability to be the offense that you want, not starting off with the record that you need to, blowing the double-digit leads, I think, is the big tell of like a head coach. Like when an organization can point to you and say, you have blown double-digit leads multiple times this season, it's a close league. It's a competitive league.
Right.
But you can't be doing that as a head coach because of all of the, well, it's not entirely my fault. Well, this, that, like there's other people who are at fault here. That's always going to be on you. And blowing 4 of those leads this season, there was going to be no surviving that for him.
That's right. It's unfathomable when you watch these games. You look at how the Cowboys game ended, and then you look at how the Broncos game ended. You look at how the Bears game ended. It's just, it can't happen, right? It almost seems impossible for it to just continue to happen over and over again. And then I know people like made light of this situation, and I get it because there was parts of it that seemed funny at the time, but it really was emblematic of everything going on. Him going into the medical tent when Jackson Dart came out of that game, rather than focusing on Russell Wilson having to go into the game and continue to move the offense, was just a dreadful look, because it was a situation where, I understand, but you can't interfere with medical personnel, right? Especially when it comes to head injuries that are an independent neurologist. So you're not, like, even if you think you're going to be doing something there, they're not going to listen to you, and nor should they even acknowledge your existence. 2, here's my whole point. That was a microcosm of Brian Daboll's problems as a head coach. You're the head coach of the team. The team is playing to win the game. Yeah. And you're worried about one player, very important player, who looks very good so far, in the blue medical tent. Yeah. It's one little moment, and there was like memes that came out of it, but I thought it was a signal of part of the issues with the entire operation.
Somebody in the comments said, hey, Brian Daboll is a really good example of somebody who's a good offense coordinator. He's a good play caller. He's a fiery dude, not a head coach. And with how his tenure ended, now the way that it did, I unfortunately feel like I have to agree with that because of how he handled things as a head coach. Right. There's a lot of things that, roster construction, guys getting hurt, like all this kinds of stuff that some of it's his fault, some of it's not. But at the end of the day, there are things that you have to handle a little bit better as a head coach. And I don't feel like that he did. And that's, I think, why he is out. By the way, shout out that franchise guy. Shout out Marcus Whitman, who's in the chat here with us. He said, what are you bozos doing? The Giants have Cam Scadaboo. They're going to be fine. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. And when we get to the roster part of it, when we look at like the core players on the roster, Connor, it's not the worst thing in the world. Do they need help? Sure. But they got at least some pieces to build around. So I'm excited to get to that portion of the show.
Trevor, I got asked on Kevin Clark's show this week, what rookie class as a whole has been maybe the most impressive? And I said the Giants have to be in that conversation.
So
I think Joe Shane's been awful.
Well, hold on, though.
But this is the problem. It's like, well, this class might have saved them. Whether you believe that's right or wrong, I don't think it should have been enough to save him. But isn't it such a weird combo to have?
Yes. So can we? All right, let's bring up the slide for Joe Shane. Because I want to get into this part of it. Okay, no. The draft history one is fine. Let's start here because I think this is a good one as well. This is the 2025 draft, and this is kind of what I was talking about, where I don't want to necessarily sound like I'm this massive Joe Shane apologist, but I think that when people look at it and be like, he's the worst, like he's a dumpster fire, like that I can't agree with. So what I wanted to do, because we like to be transparent here on this show, we do draft grades at the end of every draft. And we've been doing this show this is our 4th year doing the show. So we have draft grades episodes going all the way back to 2023. Those are 3 years of Joe Shane's drafts. So you will see on the screen the draft history, not only who was picked, but these are what our grades were the day after all of these picks happened. Now, we didn't get to watch them unfold yet for their rookie careers or their rookie contracts and things like that, but this is what we thought of them. For the 2025 draft, Abdul Carter, you would not have gone with anybody else other than Abdul Carter. There was no other player to pick when they picked Abdul Carter.
Brian Daboll might have taken Dart here, but it all worked out. They
get Dart at the back end of the first round. Dart looks good. I'll admit it. I was skeptical about Dart, but he looks
There's
really
no
good
way
so
around
far.
it. Dart has played his ass off.
He's looked really good. Darius Alexander, love the value there in round 3. Cam Scattaboo, I love the value there. Marcus Bowe, I love the value there for those players. Even the 2 guys at the end, we mentioned this on the draft grades episode. Thomas Fidone and Corey Black, all right. You're taking chances on athletic dudes in the 7th round who could be difference makers for you. I gave him a B+ and you gave him a B.
So here's the issue, and really well pointed out from Swanosaur in the chat. Shane didn't even want to draft Dart. And I don't know if it's that he didn't want to, but with the footage we have of the draft room, it is very clear he kept putting that pick on Brian Dable. Like it was almost going to give him an out in case it didn't work.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of the issue, is that say Dart works out, and all signs have pointed that he's got a real chance to, because he's played really well. Just got to protect himself. It's one of those things where, like, does Brian Dable get the credit for this pick?
Yeah, I
think he does. I really think he does.
Those are the things behind the scenes that make it really hard to like totally judge somebody, right? Because I can look at this draft class on paper and say that I basically liked every pick that was there, especially the way that Jackson Dart has turned out. Now, like I'll be honest, pre-draft, I probably would have been closer to where Joe Shane was, where I was skeptical about Jackson.
I wouldn't. Yeah, 20, like the trade, they didn't give up a lot to go back into round 1 for him, which was the right strategy. But nobody could sit here and say like, oh, Jackson Dart should have been a top 10 pick. Well, then why did he fall to 25? And it cost what, a 3rd rounder to get back in to get him?
Exactly. So I think that we're giving Dable credit for that. Then hey, we're giving Dable credit for that. But the rest of the picks, I liked all of those. If you go to 2024, you and I both really liked this draft from them at the time. You get a difference maker in Malik Neighbors. Hold on, Tyrone Tracy, obviously you loved in
I love Tracy.
The 5th round. Tyler Newbin, we thought was a really solid pick in the 2nd round. I know he's struggled right now. Andrew Phillips was excellent as a rookie. Now, he hasn't been as good this year, but he was excellent as a rookie, and I think he's a starter for them moving forward. Theo Johnson's basically their starting tight end, and Darius Muasau's like a decent linebacker and special teams player, from what I've seen.
Yeah, I don't have like a massive problem with this draft. I wasn't as high on Phillips. I had him 98th. They took him 70th. Whatever. You know, it's I thought he was really good as a rookie, where I was like, I missed on that one. This year I don't feel that way. I think he's been kind of more what I thought. But you can't cherry pick one pick in the draft. I'm with you. Like Malik Neighbors is awesome. Tyler Newbin has been just okay, and I thought he'd be a little bit more of an impact player.
I thought he'd be better. Yes.
I thought he'd be better. Theo, when Jackson Dart came in, looked like the guy that we were all hoping for him to be. And then, Tracy was a value. But
I like this pick. I like this draft. And also, so let's not forget this as well. Shane tried to get up to number 3 to take Drake May. He called the Patriots and basically gave them as best as he possibly could. And the Patriots simply were not going to move off of number 3 overall. So he tried. He tried to go get the quarterback because they didn't have the quarterback. So then now you're in a situation in the 2025 class where, okay, you're not going to get Cam Ward. You're basically staring down the barrel of we need one of these guys. And again, you guys can say that Shane doesn't get any credit for the Dable pick. And maybe that's the case, but that was a really tough quarterback class last year to not have the number 1 overall pick and not be able to get Cam Ward. Any other team that needed a quarterback in last year's class was pretty screwed. And they tried to get ahead of it and be aggressive with it to go up and get Drake May, but of course they couldn't. So I think that hindsight part of it is important. And then the last one that we'll look at, let's look at 2023 because we have the draft grades for that one. This one, like I said, I was higher on this one. I gave it an A-. You gave it a B+. This is Deonte Banks in the 1st, John Michael Schmitz in the 2nd, Jalen Hyatt in the 3rd, Eric Gray in the 5th, Trey Hawkins, Jordan Riley, and Javarius Owens. It's really, when we give out draft grades, it's heavily weighted on basically the first 3 rounds. Deonte Banks, I loved for Wink Martindale's defense, and then Wink Martindale wasn't there very much longer. John Michael Schmitz is still a starter along the interior offensive line. Has he been super dominant? No, but again,
I've been so disappointed. My grade was heavily weighted on him, and he hasn't been what I thought.
Right, and I think he's been okay. I feel like he's been better as of late, but then the 3rd round, Jalen Hyatt, it obviously didn't work out, but they needed a deep threat at the time. So I understood the thought process of a lot of these selections. all of that to say, to go through all of that, I do think the people in the chat are correct when they're saying not a lot of these guys have developed.
This draft stunk.
There's not really, well, certainly in hindsight, it absolutely stunk.
Yeah, I'd be the first to say, like, my B+ grade is
right.
Not good. And we don't give out like a ton of C's and stuff, but yeah, it's just not right. It's just not right because JMS needed to be better, and Banks.
Banks, Banks, I thought would have been great for Wink. Wink's barely there with him. And so Banks has gotten much worse.
Ben Longo, this did not pimp the ride.
This draft absolutely did not. There's no question. But it was sort of like, okay, in the moment, you can understand the picks that are being made, but they did not manifest on the field. They didn't get better. They regressed. They didn't fit what they were trying to do, no matter who was making the calls, whether it was, Dable, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, whatever. It just feels as though I liked a lot of Shane's picks over the last 3 years. It has not manifested in the roster that I thought it was going to.
Exactly. Here's the convo. Because I fell into this trap while covering Joe Douglas for years, where Jets fans were like, we can't fire Joe Douglas. No GM has picked players like this for us. Drafting players and building a team are not the same thing. And Joe Schoen has miserably failed at building a team. Joe Douglas, like Joe Schoen, drafted some good players. Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Sauce Gardner, Jermaine Johnson. Notice a trend. Those were all top 40 picks, but never built a good team. And Joe Schoen, especially on the offensive line, has not built a good team. And that's where it's free agency, trades, and the draft, and depth on the waiver wires, and player development. Like, this draft is the perfect example. You don't got to hit on round 5 through 7. But one of those 4 picks has to be a depth piece, has to play special teams. Has to be, when somebody gets hurt, because people get hurt every year at every position, ready to fill in for 3 games and not look like the worst player in the NFL. And Joe Schoen, much like Joe Douglas, has failed at building this New York Giants team.
I completely agree with you there. So that's why I wanted to go through this exercise to lay it out, where it's like, hey, on paper, you can look at some of these drafts and not hate the picks when they were made at the time. But the fact of the matter is, they did not make the Giants a better football team. And that's on development within the coaching staff when they get their hands on these guys. It's about Joe Schoen drafting the right players with with cohesiveness with the coaching staff. And I think that's been a major issue for him during his tenure. And Tyler, if you could throw up the slide with, Joe Schoen as general manager, this is sort of his background. He's got that scouting background to him. But if we go to like the notable moves section for him, these were the things that I had kind of written down for his notable moves that he has made since he's been a general manager. He got the big deals to retain the homegrown talent in Andrew Thomas and Dexter Lawrence. Okay, that's good. You retain those guys. You didn't draft those guys, but you retain those guys. You made sure they stuck around. That's important. Acquiring Brian Burns when he became available, and I think that was an aggressive move that I really liked from him. Then you get into believing the one-year wonder of Daniel Jones, signing him to a 4-year deal. Now, the timing was tough, right? The timing was tough. We had their first year as a general manager and head coach, and Daniel Jones, who had been hot and cold, but mostly cold throughout his career to that point, plays well under Brian Dable. They make the playoffs with what they think is a bad roster, somebody else's players, and then it just happens that Jones is hitting free agency.
Right.
So what are they going to do? They opt to sign Daniel Jones. It obviously does not work out for them. He gets hurt. He's no longer there. Doesn't help to see his success over in Indianapolis. And then, of course, letting Saquon Barkley walk, go to the Eagles, have a career year, be a reason why your rival wins a Super Bowl. And so I think even though I believe that Joe Schoen has done good things as general manager, unfortunately, Connor, I think that 3 things weigh the heaviest for him, and why I think I would probably move on, and why I think the Giants are going to move on from him.
The Daniel Jones thing. Oh, sorry, Trevor. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, one is watching Daniel Jones be really, really, really good with the Colts.
Yeah.
I think that hurts him a lot.
Oh, yeah. It definitely hurt Brian Dable as well.
I think letting Saquon walk is something that is just a horrendous taste in the mouth of the owners.
Yeah.
With watching him be a catalyst for why the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And the third one is that Joe Schoen has failed to put a good offensive line out there for basically his entire tenure as a general manager. And I think the bargain bin shopping, the swing on Evan Neal, I mean, there's no way around it. Like, the swing on Evan Neal was really bad in that 2022 draft. Charles Cross is still on the board. Ike Ekwonu was off the board. But, I mean, Neal was a disaster for them. And unfortunately, they had to keep trotting him out there because what else are you going to do? You pick the guy at 7 overall. They tried him at tackle. They tried him at guard. And they let Evan Neal's failures be an anchor that weighed down the improvement of that offensive line because you kept trying to stick him in certain spots. I'm not saying it was an easy job to fix the offensive line, but Daniel Jones being good elsewhere, Saquon Barkley being good elsewhere, and the lack of ability to fix the offensive line for the last 3 years are the three things that I actually think weigh heaviest when you look at his resume.
Without a doubt. It's not hindsight to question the way the Jones and Barkley saga was dealt with at the time, because I said at the time, why don't you tag the quarterback that you're so unsure of and extend the running back that you know is great? But they rewarded the quarterback with long-term security and never found a way with Saquon.
Yeah.
So it's just these little things turn into really, really big things. I even saw somebody in the chat, and this is a great call because I forgot about this player because we talk so much about Xavier McKinney. We talk so much about Saquon, and now this year we talk about
McKinney too.
We
elite on the Packers.
We talk about Daniel Jones. It was from Arm the Sharks, brought up Julian Love. Julian Love was awesome the 2 years after he left the Giants and went to Seattle. Awesome.
Yep.
So this is like, why is all this talent leaving and going on to be so much better, which a lot of people in the chat were like, isn't that also an indictment on Dable? And yes, it's an indictment on coaching, but it's also an indictment on the GM, which is the whole point. Everybody should be fired and everybody should be aligned together with the next regime.
Yeah. And I think that goes into to your point previously, where you said that on paper, you can look at some names that Schoen has acquired or drafted and say, all right, like, we could point to these as maybe objectively good moves. Did they make the Giants a better team? And there are too many times when that answer is no. And I think that speaks to the product on the field. That speaks to the regression of talent around them, whether it was just development for rookies or guys being cohesive and being able to play well for certain defensive coordinators, defensive schemes, offensive schemes, whatever it was. They've made a lot of moves. There have been some players that are in and out here, but they have not made the Giants a better football team. Joe Schoen has not made the Giants a better football team. Maybe a more talented one in some ways, but it has not come together. And I think the proof is in the pudding when you start 2-8 for 3 years in a row. And it's hard to get over that.
Yep.
You want to fire off on some super chats before we get into some head coaching candidates? Start to talk about that.
The meat and potatoes combo is definitely going to be the head coach.
Yes. All right. I will let you start, and then
let's do this. Big Dog, thank you for the super chat. So cool that all the Dolphins need to do is fire Chris Career. No need to fix us. Dolphins minus 2.5 in Madrid over the Commanders was one of my favorite early lines of the week. I think, Mike McDaniel's a good offensive mind. I know he gets laughed at and memed, but the man can coordinate a run game as good as anybody in football. McFarland Jeff Roy, thank you for the $20 super chat. Unfortunately, I cannot watch live as the podcast is perfect for my hour commute to school on Tuesday and Thursday morning. Anyway, you consume it. Thank you very much. Good luck in school. Andrew Neese, thank you for the $5 super chat. Joe Fagnano from UConn needs more attention with his 25 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Ohio. Skylar Bell is the best prospect on that team, the wide receiver.
I got to watch him again.
He was stuck up for me like week 3. And we didn't talk about him, but Skylar Bell is a real NFL talent.
Playing well, playing super well.
LAD, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. No message, just love. Ethan Bailey, thank you for the $5 super chat. Giants next coach is already in the house. Jameis, please come up to the podium. BD, thank you for the $5 super chat. That would be Yeah, we're going to hire Jameis Winston. What do you guys make of Bryce Young's performance last week? Also, this podcast is a blessing. You've helped me through some stuff. Love y'all. We love you too. Thank you so much for the kind words. Hopefully, we're always here for you.
Yeah.
Whenever we can be. What do you guys make of Bryce Young's? Oh, no.
There it is. There it is. No, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Bryce Young, the problem, if there was one, with the Panthers being better than we thought this year, is that you start to figure out what the problems are within the team or what the limitations are with the team. And it just feels like as much as Bryce Young has improved since his rookie year, which was a disaster, there's a lot of good with the Panthers. They could run the ball. They got a good offensive line. They have talent at defense, at interior defensive line, corner. Nick Scorton's going to be a good pass rusher. When they lose games like that, you look at it and go, is this the quarterback to take us where we need to go? Because Dave Canales looks fine. And that was a tough one for Bryce.
Yeah, the issue with Bryce now is consistently being able to pass the ball deep down the field. He was really good at that during the second half of last season when he came in. And that was the reason why his PFF grades were so high, why the Panthers were able to play really well. And he's lost that this year. He's I believe, one of the lowest graded quarterbacks over the last couple of weeks. Are you laughing at the camera comments?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Jamie
I'll read
Brown, hopefully we're always here for you, immediately disappears.
That's damn. Damn. I didn't even think of that. BD, I promise that wasn't on you. It's on me. Yeah, but Bryce is just, if he can't consistently push the ball 10 or more yards down the field, you can say whatever you want. Hey, they only have 10. Like, Xavier Legette's been disappointing. Jalen Coker's been hurt. I get all that stuff. Bryce is still going to be a lot better than what he was over these last couple of weeks. So there's no doubt about that. Let's see. Nathan, $5 super chat. Did you guys see the clip of Josh Allen throwing over Niagara Falls with Peyton Manning? That's the
Peyton's places, right?
That's true. That's true arm talent. That's the measure of arm talent. A
just
callback.
In, Josh Allen's arm's pretty impressive.
A callback to a bit that we had earlier in the season. So we love that, Nathan. Carter, $5 super chat. Can the Addicts get a Discord going? Best community on YouTube. I really do. I love you guys. We're not just saying this because it's biased. We love everybody who gets in on the chats. This is so much fun for us to do. We obviously have a blast on this podcast. Hopefully it always comes out. And the reason is because you guys make it so much fun. You guys have asked for a Discord for so long. We just, I don't know crap about Discord. I don't know anything about it.
We need manpower. So
we do.
I can't use that excuse because I have one for Badlands. That full transparency, I didn't start. Mm-hmm. We just have a lot of manpower at Badlands. We have like a 10-person team, and this guy, Andy, who's awesome, huge Jets fan, just volunteered to run it and moderate it for us. And it's an amazing Jets community that we have. But full transparency, I love my Badlands community of about 5,000 Maniac Jet fans. The Stock Exchange community is even bigger because we cover every team and we cover the NFL draft. And we are beyond blessed that this is an issue. But if we started a Discord, it would be way bigger than that within a couple of months.
Right.
And it does require manpower because it is a responsibility. Trevor and I care about fostering a community that is very uplifting and positive, as you see in the chat.
Right.
Which is like, I am so grateful for that. The chat takes very little moderation, where I would want the Discord to be the same way. So if we do it, it'll be done right, where it's a very, very good place that you want to be.
100%. Absolutely. Xander in the chat says, I'll volunteer. I run a few Discords of my own. Hey, Xander, we might be hitting you up. We might be hitting you up to get some contact to maybe start that up. Marcus Rickard, $5 super chat says, love the show. Who are some tackles in play at the end of round 1 for my Niners? Love the Lomo pick in the mock. Also, Prisoners is the best Jake Gyllenhaal movie.
Oh, phenomenal movie that Trevor hasn't seen. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
I won't spoil it.
End of round 1, honestly, like Caleb Lomu, I think is a great. I think that's a great shout out. To be honest, I might get there with my guy Nicky Prongos, the offensive tackle from Stanford. Austin Sareveld from Ohio State. If you believe that he's an offensive tackle and he's in this class, although he's a true junior, I think that's an option. Guard. He could be a guard.
Very good prospect.
I think it's just a really good player. Caleb Tiernan, the offensive tackle from Northwestern, is going to get some love. So those are a couple of names there.
Guard.
Maybe. Isn't Caleb Tiernan like 6'7"?
Yeah, but you know what's crazy about him? think he's got like 31 or 32-inch arms.
I know, but he's so tall. I
yeah, that's worse.
I don't love guards being tall.
You can't block a tackle like this as a T-Rex. It's so hard. I'd rather him be short.
I'm just going to put him at...
Good football player. Oh, man, you're
tight.
6'7" farming again.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, you just ruined the chat.
Libertarian Sasquatch says, love the show, Pipsqueaks.
Oh, get owned.
Stop. This is the last one, and then we'll get back to it. Brendo with the $2 super chat says, Drake, May.
Yes.
It's a good one. It's a good one to get us back here in on the show. Head coaching candidates for the New York Giants. Let's talk about them.
Yep. Wow, look at that picture.
These are the names that I compiled for the New York Giants. Of course, in the chat, I would love to hear from you guys. Any of the names that are on there, any of the names that aren't. So for those of you who are audio-only listeners, on this list, we have Bill Belichick, head coach, North Carolina. He was the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants in the 80s when they
before we were born.
2 Super Bowl rings. So he's got the familiarity with the franchise. He's got the legacy with the franchise, and it could be his ticket back. By the way, Bill Belichick is 16 wins short of George Halas for second all-time in the NFL, and he is only 26 away from Don Shula. You know that man wants to be number 1.
It's going to stay that way, partner.
Wow. Steve Spagnuolo, defense coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's got a connection to the Giants. I think he could be an option. Mike McCarthy, the PFF mock draft simulator overlord. I think if you want head coach experience, that could be an option. Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator for the Commanders, which I'll get to in a second. Kevin Stefanski, head coach from the Browns. If he ends up getting let go for the Browns, I think he is an option here. Rex Ryan, who has the perfect veneer smile on ESPN NFL Countdown. It's an option there. Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the Bills, although like a commenter said earlier, I don't think they're going to go for that. Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator from the Packers. Steve Sarkisian, the head coach from Texas. And then, of course, because I had to throw it in here, Lane Kiffin, the head coach at Ole Miss. Connor, I think that the number one, I think the number one qualification for the Giants at this point is somebody who has head coaching experience. I think that's what they're going to go for. I don't think they want to run it back. I don't think, because of what we talked about with Brian Daboll. Good offensive coordinator, good offensive mind, knows how to make it work with quarterbacks, knows how to make it work on offense. Just not a head coach. And I don't think they want. They went through that with Joe Judge before. They went through it with Brian Daboll, a little bit more traditional of a route. I don't think they want to mess with it again. I think they want somebody with head coaching experience, whether it's at the college football or NFL level, much preferably the NFL level. And then, of course, number 2, what are you with Jackson Dart? What's your offense like? Does it line up with what he likes to do well? Can we believe in you to make him better? And are you going to run an offense that's friendly enough for what Dart likes to do, his skill set, to be able to put up some points next season? So I think those 2 are the main qualifiers for the job. What do you think about that? What do you think of the candidates? And who do you think is a front runner?
I agree with you. I think they'd love if they can get a guy with experience that is, obviously qualified for the job. The problem is it's hard to get those guys. We don't know if Stefanski is going to be fired. Obviously, John Harbaugh would be a dream if the Ravens just fall short and feel like they need a change. I saw the chat saying this name a lot, and I agree. This is not an experienced guy, but Jesse Minter will be in the mix for this job.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, he was on our list. It's just you only have so much room on the graphic.
Yeah.
I tell you what, man, I don't think you should sacrifice the qualifications of a candidate just because he has experience. And that makes me worried if they go with a guy like Spags. Spags is an awesome DC. He knows the organization. But is Steve Spagnuolo, the move the Giants need to make here because he has experience and he's been a great DC and he knows the organization? Mm-hmm. I just think you need more upside than that. I really, really do. So that's the tricky part of this job. McCarthy feels like the warm choice where it's like, we know what he is.
Right.
And I think naturally fans are just so uninspired by McCarthy, despite that the fact the guy wins and does bring a like pretty respectable presence to your organization. It's just the playoff shortcomings for Dallas is a hard one for him to get past.
Yeah.
There's no way you could, if they bring in Belichick, this state of Belichick, I don't even know what Bill's staff would be anymore, considering the staff he couldn't bring to UNC.
Right.
Like Josh McDaniels is killing it in New England. Matt Patricia is killing it at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that's the road they don't go down, honestly. So yeah, there's not an overwhelming, and Brian Flores is a tricky one because of the previous situation with the hiring process and him.
Right.
Because Brian Flores, to me, is the most qualified combination of a guy with head coaching experience, but an awesome defensive coordinator, also from Brooklyn, New York. So that's one where it's like, it's hard to figure out the way that's resolved, but I think Flores would easily be one of the best candidates, depending on his OC.
Yeah,
easily.
I love Brian Flores as a candidate for head coach. I just have no idea where we stand.
The logistics of everything.
Right.
It's not very public.
I just don't know. I don't know, but he would certainly be considered. I didn't know that he was from, would you say he's from Brooklyn?
He's from Brooklyn.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be a nice fit.
Yeah.
I like that. So
yeah, I think he's from Brownsville, actually, which is was a tough part of Brooklyn.
There's like Jesse Minter, I think could be a candidate. Anthony Campanile, the defense coordinator for the Jags, I think is very up and coming. Chris Shula under McVay's staff, like I think those guys are all. If you want to try somebody who's like a first time head coach, I think those are the names that you think of. I just don't know if the Giants are going to do it, coming off the heels of Joe Judge and Brian Daboll.
Right.
And both of those guys just not succeeding for what feels like the same reason. A lot
Ben
of people
McAdoo.
Right. So I just, people are saying Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's going to retire a Steeler.
I feel like this is kind of like the dance we do every year.
And some people are saying Mike McDaniel, if he gets fired at head coach, to be the offensive coordinator for like a defensive minded head coach, right? Like,
I mean,
Steve Spagnuolo, Brian Flores.
That'd be amazing.
Guys like that would be amazing, especially because a lot of what Miami does, if I remember this correctly, it might be different this year, so I don't want to say that. But getting into the Dart stuff, and why I think that Cliff Kingsbury is sort of like a name that people look at and they just go like, no, I don't want anything to do with Cliff Kingsbury. When you look at Jackson Dart, the things that he did well last year when he was at Ole Miss, and the things that he did that he's doing well now in the NFL, it centers around a couple of different aspects of offense. The first one is tempo. Jackson Dart operates very well when you have a tempoed offense, one that's running pretty fast, one that gets the ball, snapped very quickly out of his hands pretty quickly. And that doesn't mean that he's not holding on to it for deep shots. It's just, this is a high tempo offense. He operates very well when that's the case. It's very shotgun based. That's what he's used to. So shotgun, tempo, RPO and read option elements that he ran very well when he was at Ole Miss. Obviously, he is running that well with the New York Giants as well. And then when he was at Ole Miss, almost exclusively did they run out of 11 personnel. I mean, they had 3 wide receivers on the field at all times, and it was just different formations, different looks, but it was a lot of the same personnel that was out there. You're running tempo with the same personnel, and you're able to do a lot of different things out of those looks from 11 personnel. Cliff Kingsbury, I think, lines up pretty well there. It's an offense that, let me make sure that I have the details here for him. A lot of RPO stuff, a lot of read option stuff that could exist within his offense. Highest percentage of shotgun and 4th highest percent of RPO last season with Jaden Daniels. So this is something that he wants to do there. As another offensive guy on there, like Steve Sarkisian, if you were to think about him, he doesn't run a ton of tempo stuff, but over half of his offense is from 11 personnel. So that's sort of why I threw him in there. Whoever the offensive coordinator is going to be is going to probably have to be somebody, if you want to maximize what Jackson Dart does really well, you want him in that shotgun, can see it, got multiple options. Let's be fast. Let's go tempo. Let's run 11 personnel quite a bit. So that is the type of offense that I think Jackson Dart has thrived the most under over the last 2 years. And Cliff Kingsbury is actually a really good fit for that. I don't really know if McCarthy's offense is that good of a fit for that. McCarthy is a little bit more of your traditional, like, can get under center, play action. It's a lot of West Coast stuff. I know he sort of reinvented himself and his offense and his play calling over his last couple of years with Dallas, but it's more of like West Coast based stuff. Stefanski can do a lot of different things, but a lot of what Stefanski does really well is through the run game, specifically when you can get into like those outside zone runs and really be able to take runs to the sideline, have some pulling offensive linemen. And I know the offensive line is going to change for the Giants, but when they were at their best with Cam Scadaboo, it's a lot of between the tackle stuff. It was a lot of power stuff. And I don't know if really that's the best version of Stefanski's offense with him liking to get out in space with the outside zones and a lot of the pulling stuff. So I just have some reservations a little bit with those guys when it comes to a fit for the offensive philosophy of what you would want to be. But I really do like, I like the idea of Cliff Kingsbury, where I think some people might just, poo-poo it just because of Cliff Kingsbury's history. So.
Yeah, and I think another offensive name, although his offense with Seattle this year is a little bit different than what you were breaking down, is going to be Clint Kubiak. I mean, he's somebody that...
I love Clint Kubiak.
Clint Kubiak is a really smart offensive play caller. Seattle's offense is one of the more varied personnel groupings you'll ever see. I mean, they're only running 11 personnel 36% of the time, and then it's a ton of 12, 21, 22. They play heavier sets, but Darnold has looked his best. And you can envision the way they use JSN at all three levels of the field, them doing that with Malik Neighbors. And if they get another tight end on this roster and you have Theo Johnson and that tight end, you can run a lot of these personnel groupings. And I don't know if I agree with what you're saying with Dart, but I think Dart can expand what he's able to handle as well because of his talent. So Kubiak, if they're going to go with the hot offensive coordinator, it feels like Kubiak would be right at the top of the list.
Alec is bringing up a fantastic point with his $5 super chat, and we appreciate you for this, the super chat, and for this. Didn't Brian Flores try to sue the Giants specifically because Bill Belichick sent the wrong Brian a congrats, and he was mad that Dable had already gotten the job, and he's suing them because he thought that they went about the Rooney Rule as a sham? That is correct. I totally forgot that the Giants were.
I just didn't know where
team.
that was.
I forgot that the Giants were the team that happened with.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that the Giants were the team. I remember that happening. I was just like, oh, yeah. I remember that, but I totally forgot that it was the Giants. So he's not going to be a candidate for the Giants.
I need to read this super chat that just came in from Hayden.
Okay.
Love this show.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are my girlfriend's least favorite people ever. I show her every cold open. This show is a year-round must-watch for us Giants fans.
Hey, shout out to Hayden's girlfriend.
Yeah, it's okay. Least favorite people ever.
Listen.
But shout out to Hayden.
You're making an addict out of her. And, when she subscribes to the channel, we'll welcome her with open arms. Which, hey, anybody who's watching, we got over 1,100 people watching. We love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, getting in on the Giants Fix Your Franchise. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, we would love for you to be subscribed. We would love for you to be part of the Addicts. Join us every single show. We have a lot of fun talking about the NFL, not just the Giants, but everything. NFL draft related, everything around the league, all that good stuff. So if you're not subscribed, we would love for you guys to be subscribed. Okay, well, let's make a decision here. We're fixing the team. Are we going like dream scenario? You want to go? How about this? Steve Spagnuolo, Mike McDaniel, offensive coordinator. How do we feel? Can we do that?
I don't love the Spags hire, but at least you beefed it up as nice as possible. Like you gift wrapped it as nice as possible with McDaniel.
Who would you lean then? With a head
Jesse
coach?
Minter.
Man, I don't think they're gonna do it.
Yeah, no, I get you asked me what I would do, not what they would do.
Yeah.
But I totally understand. We can go. Spags is such a Giants. We know him. He's got experience. He's a veteran. Yeah, you're going down the realistic pathway.
I feel like that one makes the most sense. Chat, what do we think? What do we think here?
Yeah,
wait, $10 super chat from friend of the show, good friend of the show, Sam Monson, who does a great job with Steve Palazzolo on the Check the Mic podcast. You guys should also be subscribed to that show. Hey, both of you specifically because of your beautiful heads of hair. Love you, Sam. Thanks for tuning in.
There's beauty in baldness. I tell Matthew Berry that every day.
There is. All right, we got people. Shout out Matthew Berry.
Shout out.
Kiffin.
He's right. Y'all fixing or pimping the team. Big difference.
Nemo says Todd Monken. I would love
for
Todd Monken to be the head coach. I've run out of faith that it's going to be him. That he's going to get a head coaching gig.
It feels like there are some guys that, because of like their personality, for better or for worse, they just don't get. That was kind of the thing around Mike McDaniel for a while. It's like, this guy, like, is he going to be a head coach? And fortunately, he got a shot. Monken is like a pretty blunt, honest guy, and sometimes owners don't love that, as crappy as that is.
I think we should go
Spags and McDaniel.
I think we should go Spags and McDaniel.
Let's do it.
I like that. Just because, again, guys, the Kubiak one, I love the Kubiak one, but I don't. From what I have heard to this point, there's a lot of people, whenever I bring his name up as a potential head coach, a lot of people are like, he does not have the personality of a head coach. And maybe that's just, I don't know, like maybe that's just like people saying that out of nowhere. I've never interviewed him. I've never got to meet him.
I don't know. I
don't know. I really don't know him super well, but what he is doing with the Seattle Seahawks, he's going to get a chance to interview for head coach. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, we'll get to show that he has the personality for sure.
I would put him into this conversation. I just don't think the Giants are going to hire somebody who hasn't been a head coach. So let's go Steve Spagnuolo and Mike McDaniel. We haven't done that yet, have we?
No.
Or have we?
No. We haven't had Spags on a list.
Did we do that for the Titans, though? Didn't we give him McDaniel? I feel like we did.
Who is the head coach, though?
Didn't we do like John Harbaugh? We were like, John Harbaugh. And
Probably. But that was when it was our first one of the year. Like
this one's a little bit more realistic.
Yeah.
Take Jim Nagy. No.
Jim Nagy? I think they're talking about Matt Nagy.
Oh, Matt Nagy. I said Jim Nagy. Shout out the Senior Bowl. Well, not the Senior Bowl anyway. Shout out Oklahoma football. Oklahoma football. Jim Nagy.
Oh, man.
All right.
The show is out of control.
We're going Steve Spagnuolo, and we're going Mike McDaniel as the offensive coordinator, head coach. Okay, let's get into really quick offensive core players. So let's get into the offensive philosophy.
This is pretty easy.
Yeah, Connor, this is what I got here. Jackson Dart, Cam Scattaboo, Malik Neighbors, wide receiver 2.
They paid Darius Slayton a lot of money, which
they can't cut him. I tried. I tried. I went through the exercise. They can't cut him.
No, he's here next year.
He's here. So Theo Johnson as well. He'll be tight end 1. Daniel Bellinger's a free agent. We'll talk about that in a second. Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle. Maybe Jermaine Illuminor, who's a free agent. You could bring him back if you wanted to.
He's been pretty good signing for them.
He has been fine. Yeah, he's been fine. I could live with that. But 2 no offensive guards probably. I mean, basically all of their guards are free agents. The only one who isn't is John Runyon, who's a cut candidate for them. And then John Michael Smith's playing at center. He's just
who needs to be better. Yeah. He does.
On the defensive side of the ball.
Andrew, wow, that offensive line is amazing. It's all question marks besides Andrew Thomas.
In theory. It's the mystery box.
It could be good. Okay, this is at least a lot more promising.
100% it is.
It actually makes you wonder, how the hell is this unit so bad sometimes? Shane Bowen, my guy, what's he cooking? What's he cooking? He's eating soup with a fork. Like, I don't understand. And it can't be the pulse. It cannot be the pulse and Debo's hurt. It can't be we pull the pulse and Debo Jenga stack out and the whole thing falls down. That is not possible. You ever envision someone eating soup with a fork?
I was not ready for that.
Yeah, you were not.
Eating soup with a fork.
I'm always cold open farming.
You are, yeah. You are cold open farming. There's no doubt about it. Roy says that Shane Bowen got Dable fired. Man,
he was the final nail. Yes,
it is an underwhelming unit. There's no doubt. Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau. I have him on here. I don't have him with the core player star. He's going to be going into his 5th-year option next year, but he's somebody who, depending on if there's a new GM. If there's a new GM, I really do think that Kayvon Thibodeau could be moved.
I would completely agree.
If not, I don't think that Joe Shane's going to move on from him. But if there's a new GM, I think you can move on from Kayvon Thibodeau. But Darius Alexander, Dexter Lawrence, like all those guys are there. Bobby Okereke, like you could, he was good in 2013.
One of their good moves.
He wasn't good last year. And I think he's been okay this year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so.
Linebacker 2, Micah McFadden's their linebacker 2. He's going to hit free agency. He's been hurt this year as well. They signed Paulson Adebo. He's around. Corner 2, who knows? I think Deonte Banks could get traded for basically nothing this upcoming offseason with the new coaching staff. You got Andrew Phillips. You got Tyler Nubin. And then forgot the last safety slot, but that's Javon Holland, who also isn't going anywhere.
Yes.
The other safety spot.
Who got a big contract.
Right. So they're not going anywhere. The team needs for this team, after going through the roster there, Connor, I see it as wide receiver, certainly wide receiver 2.
Yep.
Maybe an offensive tackle. Definitely an offensive guard or 2.
Yep.
You got to have a CB2. And perhaps either upgrading at LB1 or LB2 with Bobby Okereke or without him. That's the way I see it. Anything else?
No, and the good news is there's actually avenues for them at linebacker and free agency.
There are. Yeah. There are some linebackers for them to be able to go after. There's no doubt about it. Especially if they're only looking for an LB2. Like if they believe that
exactly
Bobby Okereke is that guy. Got somebody in the chat saying like no defense tackle. Well, they have Darius Alexander, they have Dexter Lawrence. So like depth. Like these are only like the core. You are going to use big draft resources or draft or salary capital on these positions. That's what we're looking at.
They need Darius to be better. Like that's the problem. He has not been good.
So I like Darius Alexander. I didn't think he'd be good year 1. I think I always believed that he would need a year to really.
Isn't that tough when a guy is a 24-year-old prospect?
Well, for sure, yes, but he was a late breakout guy with Toledo.
He was. Yep.
And I liked his potential, but going from the Toledo competition to the NFL, I thought he would need a buffer year anyway. So I'm hoping for big things for him in 2026. All right, looking at the free agency slide here for them. Money to spend, projected salary cap, Connor, $4.4 million. It's 26th most in the NFL, so it's 8th least. So they don't have a ton of money to spend. A lot of their money is already wrapped up, but we kind of mentioned the roster has a lot of good pieces, especially the defensive side. They just got to play better. The guys who are free agents for them, Russell Wilson, Jermaine Illuminor, Evan Neal, Rakeem Nunez-Roches, shout out Peter, who shouted him out a second ago. Offensive guard Greg Van Roten. Wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson, tight end Daniel Bellinger, linebacker Micah McFadden, Cordell Flott, DJ Davidson, Josh Azudu, Aaron Stinney, Chris Manhertz, all those guys. So I can see them bringing back some of those players. I think Jermaine Illuminor is the big one for me because if you bring him back, you're telling yourself you're okay at tackle and you're getting a little bit more aggressive on the interior during the draft. But if you don't bring Jermaine Illuminor back, then you have to get really aggressive for a tackle.
You got to find a way with him, even though you really don't have, like, we can't, as it stands right now, we can't do a lot in external free agency with this team.
Right.
We just can't. Especially even if you clear up some money, Illuminor has to be back, in my opinion.
Okay.
This is the best the line has played in Joe Shane's era, which isn't saying much, but it's a step.
Okay, so we'll operate with him being back. Wan'Dale's going to walk. You could bring back Micah McFadden depending on what he wants. I think Daniel Bellinger is going to walk. Rakeem Nunez-Roches, you could bring back for not much if you wanted to. I don't know if you really bring any of the guards back.
No.
They have not played well for you. So Cordell Flott you could bring back, but again, you're kind of running out of money here. Now, we do have some some cut options, which I'll get to now. So Bobby Okereke, if you cut him, which you kind of need him.
Right, I wouldn't cut him.
If you cut him, you save $9 million. If you cut John Runyon, you save $9 million. So I think they're going to do that. So they're at least going to get $9 million there. They're going to cut Graham Gano, who has been inconsistent and also hurt. So that's another $4.5 million. And I think they're going to cut Devin Singletary, who is Brian Daboll's guy, who I think, now they have Cam Scatterbo, they have Tyrone Tracy. You can get an RB3 somewhere else. And you can save yourself $5.5 million, or almost $5.25. So from that, you're looking at 14.5. You're looking at getting $19 extra million if you cut the three guys at the bottom, Runyon, Singletary, and Gano. You can keep Bobby Okereke, and you probably got about $22 million, $23 million to work with.
And there's got to be restructures for the highest paid players on your team. I would say the Giants are going to have about $40 million to work with.
Ooh, somebody said restructuring Brian Burns.
Yeah, I'm sure the highest paid players on your team that you love and don't worry about having to cut them in the future, you can always restructure.
You'll be able to restructure them.
Now, don't forget, their rookie draft class won't be cheap because they'll be picking very early. Yeah. And we have a Jermaine Illuminor in-house contract extension that needs to get done.
So if you restructure Brian Burns' deal, you get an extra $14 million next year.
Great.
Nice. Love that. Love that. Love that. So we'll have plenty of money to work with. Now, they're not going to make huge splashes, but, some LJ's mentioned you could restructure a Debo probably. Breck's saying they're not going to cut Runyon. Really? Man.
He's been just okay.
I feel like Daniel said sign Big Chungus for left guard.
Oh, man. Big Citrus might actually be a fit for this team.
Big Chungus.
Big Chungus.
Y'all need to look at the cap space of 2027 and beyond.
Why? We're not fixing the team. That's not the exercise.
Let's see. Hold on. I'll do it right now. I'll pull up the effective cap space. Giants' effective cap space in 2027 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So smack dab in the middle, right in the middle of the NFL. $86.8 million. So obviously they have a lot of expiring contracts coming over the next year as well, so you feel pretty good about that. Ultimately, I don't think they're going to make a huge splash in free agency. I think they got a lot of the guys there. Taking a look at some free agent targets that they have. These are the guys that I came up with. If you're going to get a wide receiver, if you're going to get a depth wide receiver, I don't think they're signing anybody big time. I think if you're looking at a major difference-making wide receiver too, you're going to draft one. So like Romeo Doubs, Jalen Naylor, Hunter Renfrow, Olamide Zaccheaus. I think that if you want slot with some speed, you go with Olamide Zaccheaus. If you want more of just like a quick separating guy, underneath guy, maybe a Hunter Renfrow, because I think he'll be pretty cheap for you. He's been a healthy scratch for the Carolina Panthers the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Jalen Naylor has played well for the Vikings, but they have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, so could see them letting him go. Romeo Doubs, is a free agent. I think the Green Bay likes him, but they got a lot of different wide receiver options on that team, so they got some decision to make. Offensive guard, Fred Johnson from the Eagles. Dylan Parham from the Raiders. If they let him go, I like that. Zion Johnson, he hasn't played well throughout his career, but he's an option. Change of scenery might be better for him. Linebacker, Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean, Jack Sanborn, Christian Roseboom. There's a lot of linebacker options for him. And then at corner, Jamel Dean could be an option if the Bucs don't re-sign him. Cam Taylor-Britt, Jeff Okudah, Rasul Douglas, depending on what scheme the defense is running. It's kind of tough to get some scheme fits for these guys because we don't know what the defense is going to be for them. But, how do you feel about some of these free agents? Anybody that you want to go after or any other names that I missed here?
Dobbs gives them a floor at wide receiver, and they could still draft one. So that's an interesting one. Linebacker, do you think Leo Chanel is just out of their price range?
Well, not if Spags. I mean, if Spags comes over. Man, I like that a lot. If Spags comes over.
Bad run defending team, and you get a linebacker that can help with your run defense. Who knows the DC?
I actually didn't think of that, but I kind of like that a lot.
Just turned 25.
Let's do that. Let's go. Okay, we've got Spags and McDaniel. Leo Chanel is going to be one of the guys that we bring in to really help out the run defense because the run defense has not been good. So I like that move a lot there. That's a good call out.
All the comments are saying the Chiefs won't let Chanel go. Here's the thing, guys, and I get it. We could do this all, like we can't do the show if we do that for everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I totally get it. They probably shouldn't let him go. Chanel's good. He's young, but it's just you could do that with so many free agents, it feels like. And then you don't have a free agent class, which is why free agency is not very good most years.
Jamie, I just watched Zaccheaus drop like 5 passes against us on Sunday, so that's a tough sell. It's true. Wasn't a good game. Was not a good game for Zaccheaus.
Not the advertisement game.
Short Round said Zaccheaus, the tax collector from the Bible. Peter's saying trade Thibodeau for DJ Moore.
That's an interesting creative trade.
Ooh.
DJ Moore's expensive, though, isn't he?
Still?
Yeah. I would think he's very expensive for a team that's not exactly flush with cap space. So DJ Moore next year has a $28.5 million cap hit. Pre-trade, obviously. Yeah, it's
Pete, I don't hate this.
I mean, it's definitely like
because
you could always make the money work in the NFL.
The Bears need an edge rusher, and the Giants need a wide receiver too.
That's one of the more creative player for player trades that's realistic I've heard in a while.
I kind of like this, Connor. I kind of want to do this.
The problem is the money. You're gonna have to sacrifice some areas to take on his money.
It's fake. You restructure everybody you can.
I mean, to be fair, it kind of is after next year. Like 2026 will be expensive, but you spread the money out via the trade. He's still 29 next year. Let's do it.
Can we do this? Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. I like it. Pete, unless the chat's absolutely furious at us.
Well, the chat kind of understands my point about it just being extremely expensive for a team that's not – they're not in a great cap situation, not in a bad one, but they don't have excess cap.
What if we...
Nicholas goes, there's no way Pulse trades DJ.
Hold on. All right. Trade pre-June 1st. Who takes on that cap? They would have 12 of the dead. So that would be 16. I think it would be 16 and a half that would go to the Giants.
Snoopy makes a good point. My only reservation with this is you are trading a player on the rise for a player on the fall. I don't think Kayvon Thibodeau has been great. Not bad for sure. But the Bears feels like they have no leverage with DJ Moore. Like, what is DJ Moore worth anymore after this year? I think he'll go in the offseason to someone for a 4th round pick.
Yeah, but I think it like are the Giants gonna extend Kayvon? Is my question. Because if you're not, then trade. You could trade him for a wide receiver. What does it matter?
But I don't. Yeah.
Because at that point, like what the development of Jackson Dart and the offensive side of things is probably what's most important, anyways.
For sure. I don't know if that's the move, though. Maybe. The cap situation makes this a difficult exercise.
It does.
Colin makes a good point. Can you do Kayvon for DJ Moore plus a draft pick?
I don't think it would be that high of a draft pick because you're taking
Moore's
money.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? You know? All right, do you want to do it or no?
I kind of want to draft them a wide receiver.
Okay. All right. So we won't do it. But that was on the table there.
Ruiner.
I like the Leo Chanel ad if you can do it. If not,
I'd rather have Chanel and the cap space.
Yeah, if not,
I am an asset collecting nerd.
If not, though, I like adding Dylan Parham. I'm a Dylan Parham guy. I'm still a believer there. So if he hits free agency and they don't want to re-sign him, I like Dylan Parham. So you can add him, play him at one of the linebacker spots, or one of the guard spots. Excuse me. I don't really care which linebacker we get if it's not Leo Chanel. Nakobe Dean would be awesome. Would love to get Nakobe Dean if they're able to do it. But that's probably all we would do. I like adding Hunter Renfrow on the very cheap to be somebody who could be an underneath dude for you and just a depth wide receiver.
Especially if Wan'Dale leaves, right?
Oh, well, Wan'Dale's going to leave.
Right.
Yeah, I think he's going to.
Right, so you kind of need that role.
Sign him trade package for Chanel and Thibs. Extend Thibs, sign Linderbaum. Linderbaum ain't getting. He's not leaving. I wish.
That'd be wild if they just let a player of Linderbaum's caliber walk.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do it. Thibs for Monungai. We didn't think about that, actually. Your boy. Hunter Renfrow, the baseball player.
Monungai and Scadaboo in the same backfield.
Yeah, Slayton contracts makes keeping Wan'Dale impossible. Yeah, I agree. All right, so we're relatively light on free agency, but the main guy that we're going after is Leo Chanel. If we can get him, I think that really helps the run defense, and then the rest is just the draft. So, all right, before we do, hold on, I got an ad read somewhere. Where is it? Before we do the mock draft, which we'll get to in a second, we also got to speed run some of these super chats that we have here. Folks, days getting shorter, getting colder. can really take a toll on how we feel sometimes. This time of year can be tough for a lot of people. It's a great reminder to reach out and check in on the people that you care about. Maybe it's calling your grandma, writing a letter to a friend, grabbing lunch with somebody that you haven't seen in a while. We're all healthier when we stay connected, right? Well, when we have a community and support, that's when it's at its best. Just like reaching out to a friend, starting therapy can take a bit of courage, but once you do, you might find yourself wondering why you didn't do it sooner. BetterHelp makes it easy to start therapy. You'll be matched with a licensed therapist based on your needs and preferences, so you guys can focus on growth and goals. Over 12 years of experience, more than 30,000 therapists, over 5 million people helped out worldwide. Average live session of 4.9 out of 5 stars. If you guys aren't happy with your match, you guys can switch therapists at any time, no hassle. This month, don't wait to reach out, whether it's checking in on a friend or reaching out to a therapist yourself. BetterHelp makes it easy to take that first step. Our listeners get 10% off of their first month over at betterhelp.com/PFF. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/PFF. Tyson saying, I have Peter to help. Yeah, so do we. So do we. So do the rest of the addicts, honestly. Okay. Superchats. Running through them. Let's do it. Let's see. $5. Andrew, what's up, guys? 2 things. 1, Jordan Tyson, wide receiver 1, future Giant. Could be. Any advice for people like me pursuing a career in sports? I always tell people who are just starting out, there are a lot of different things that you could do. You could write, you could do podcasting, you could do video work. There's just so many things that you could do. In front of the camera, behind the camera, whatever. What I always tell people is when you're just starting out, think about the thing you enjoy the most. Maybe it is. Maybe it's audio-only podcasting. Maybe it's making YouTube videos. Maybe it's editing, whatever it is. And what I would tell you is, even though there are a lot of different avenues to get into this, if you are just starting out, focus on the thing that you enjoy doing the most and just start doing that on a regular basis. Once, twice, 3 times a week, whatever it is. Because when you're just starting out, you're not going to be making a crap ton of money. You're not going to be getting a crap ton of fame right away. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do something that keeps you coming back no matter what. And that's going to always be the thing that you enjoy doing the most, because consistency is so key. It'll help you build a resume. It'll help you build your network. You'll get to meet a lot of people in a space that you love working in. So whatever that is, that would be my advice to you, is just think about the thing that you love doing the most. Again, writing, podcasting, editing, YouTube, whatever it is. And just start and do that once a week, maybe twice a week, whatever it is. And when it becomes a grind, that will be it, because you enjoy it. You'll always feel yourself wanting to go back to it more and more. So that would be my advice there.
I think it's excellent advice. And by the way, the chat was right. It was time for the Daily Grape.
Yeah. They knew it was going on. They knew it was going on.
You're a true hero for giving me my 45 seconds of the day to finally eat. In all seriousness about the question, I think you nailed it. It's that you need to, the reality is when you enter this industry, more likely than not, the pay is going to be low enough that you better love what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And if you love what you're doing, at least for me, when I had an entry-level job in this industry, I didn't really care at all. Like about, as long as I had enough to live, like eat, eventually move out of my parents and get this little hole-in-the-wall dump apartment down in Hoboken. I was pretty content. And like you said, Trevor, I felt like I got better at what I was doing because I loved it. And I think if I went into doing something I didn't love, I would have just never gotten better at it because you're not passionate about it. The second thing I tell people is, and this has become really hard. It was easier back when I entered the industry in 2014. I think it's become much more difficult because of the saturation in 2026. Try to fill some kind of a void. Like if you are a giant, say you're a giant Knicks fan, right? You love basketball, you love the Knicks, and you're like, man, I'm sure someone's doing this now, but just for the easiest reference, because we don't have all day. Say you don't see somebody on TikTok doing a 45-second recap for every single game where they go, here's my player of the game, here's the one thing that stood out to me that I think no one's talking about, and one line on the next game. And like you build that, people are like, I can't get this anywhere else. I'm going to follow this guy. For me, it was covering the draft for the New York Jets. Mm-hmm. And I started doing that in college. So like 2012, 2013, 2014, there was some people doing it, but nobody was as sicko enough at the time. Like the draft wasn't covered that way. It was a big event on TV, but the constant writing, the constant tweeting during college football season, podcasting, all these things. And eventually people are like, hey, that's, like this is the guy I follow for opinions on the Jets drafts during the season. And then it's filling voids. I think that helps you get a following. Like I said, it's very hard to do nowadays because it can be really hard and overwhelming to find your place.
Yes. Yep. I think finding a little niche and finding the area that you love the most is probably the best advice that we could give there. Avery, $5. He says, starting a fund for the big bro Connor versus little bro Trevor Hell in a Cell stream. Good to finally catch an episode live. Avery, I'll fight you for the $5.
Hell in a Cell, Avery versus Trevor.
Zachy.
I'm a special guest referee.
Shawn Michaels just gives me the sweet chin music right as it starts.
Shawn
the
Michaels
addicts go crazy.
interrupting Hell in a Cell Thursdays at the Airbnb bar.
You sweet chin music my camera. That'd be great. $5 from Zachy says, Chief is by far the most disrespectful as a grown man. Also,
I don't agree. Chief's okay. It's not good. Squirt is
that's unequivocally the worst. Yes. Small fry. If somebody says small fry,
small fry, dude. Once again, if you're not 6 years old or less, and someone calls you small fry, you better fight them.
You know what? Actually is probably the most disrespectful is saying any of this and then doing the thing where you grab them on the head and just kind of like rub their hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you doing, champ? You know, like you would for like a little kid.
Dude, that, and honestly, something that pisses me off is when people hit the brim of your hat.
Oh!
Do not do that to people.
No.
Don't do it.
No. That's disrespectful.
It's disrespectful.
That's disrespectful.
And if you don't know it's disrespectful, now you do. So don't do it.
You're disrespectful.
And now I know I'm going to meet one of you heathens out in public one day, and I'm going to have a hat on, and you're going to hit the brim of my hat.
Yeah.
And it'll be funny after the 10 seconds of fury.
Yeah, it'll be funny, but it'll also be on site. Kalen, $5 super chat. Back-to-back weeks of New York teams. Let's just consolidate into one Cheeks franchise. Make our job easier. Sam, $2 super
stadium.
Chat. That's true. Tell me why the New York Giants' number one option shouldn't be Ryan Day. It's not going to be Ryan Day. I think Ryan Day is a college coach through and through. Chris with $2 super chat. Nothing with it. Just all love, as Connor would say. We appreciate you. Fredo, $5 super chat. Fix your franchise, Earth.
How long you want that show to be?
Yeah, too long. Longer than the 7-round marathon mock draft. CJ, $2 super chat. Put a fish tank in Dable's trunk as severance.
That's, oh my God.
Birmingham, $5. Had to make this one live because only you two can save my sanity with this team. Well, we appreciate it, Birmingham. Hopefully we're doing you some justice here. Samuel, $10 super chat. Starting the fund to add a fish tank to the hood of Connor's car. There you go. Okay, that $10 super chat is just going straight to you, Connor.
So one of my apartments in Hoboken, the first one I mentioned was a dump. Like, it was a slum. But my second apartment, me and one of my best friends got when I was not working an entry-level job anymore, but definitely not doing well. It was just like we were finally like doing a little better. So it was a solid apartment. It was fine. But in the kitchen, we had this idea, and they would never execute it because when you're 24 or 25 and you come up with these ideas, they never happen. But like the kitchen island, we wanted to take out the cabinets and put a fish tank in it. and we mapped it out. We never did it, though, because we wanted, since we didn't own the place. Like,
right. You can't do that to an apartment you're renting. Can you imagine handing them the keys and they walk in and they're like, did they seriously think they would get away with this?
And we left the fish tank.
But you took the fish. They were in like little bags.
Hold them in my pillowcase.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cool idea.
Ethan, the goldfish. We had to take Ethan with us.
Cool idea that didn't come to fruition.
Arm the Sharks, $10 super chat. I bought my brother the Pimp My Ride video game for his birthday one year.
I didn't know that existed.
But my mom made us wait to play it, so we snuck into her room and swapped the disc out before she wrapped it. That's actually some brilliant stuff. Man. I had no idea that this was a video game.
Didn't know that. Love the stories of...
Are you Exhibit?
Yeah, I have so many questions about this. I'm going to have to do some Googling.
Maybe it's an open world game, and you're just Exhibit walking around picking candidates to pimp their ride.
Open world. An RPG.
It's an
oh
MMO.
My God, this is real.
I had no idea this was real.
Came out in 2006. Guess what IGN gave it?
Oh, Is it out of 10 or 5?
Out of 10. And it's a decimal grade. It's not a flat number. 2.2.
Oh!
I've never seen a 2.2 on IGN.
That's the lowest I've ever heard.
Because
that's unprecedented. I'm Googling this.
Pimp My Ride review. Turn hoopties into head turners, then turn away. The opening line. Pimp My Ride sucks. How's that for an opening to a review? This is unreal.
I'm looking up highlights of Pimp My Ride video game streams immediately after this. Nobody do that and leave the chat. We don't want you to leave the show, but you do it afterwards.
Wow.
Ethan, this is the last one that I'm reading here. Care to address the rumors that you proposed to your wife by pimping her ride? No comment. No comment. As we fire up the PFF Mock Draft Simulator, Mike McCarthy, fire it up. If we have any issues here with the Mock Draft Simulator, it's obviously because Mike McCarthy did not like the fact that we did not choose him for the head coach of the New York Giants as we were going through our head coaching exercise. So we got Steve Spagnuolo as the head coach. We got Mike McDaniel as the offensive coordinator. We got Leo Chanel somehow. Probably trading Kayvon Thibodeau for something. I don't know. But, maybe Kobe Dean's in there as well. Hunter Renfrow is a depth wide receiver. But a lot of the guys on the roster currently with the Giants are capable of winning. They've just got to play better. I think Leo Chanel helps us run defense a ton and makes that defense a lot better there. So let's get into it. The Giants have a first-round pick, a second-round pick, no third-round pick because of part of the Dart trade-up from last year's draft. And then they might have an extra sixth-round pick, but it has to do with like the Darren Waller trade conditions that I don't know exactly what they are. So we're not doing 6 rounds here anyways. We're only doing the first 3 rounds, which means we get rounds 1 and 2 here for the New York Giants. So let's get into it here. Firing up the PFF Mock Draft Simulator. By the way, NFLSC 25 is how you get a 25% off subscription over at pff.com if you want to be able to run all of the mock drafts that you want, no matter what team, no matter how many different teams, no matter how many rounds, all that good stuff. Let's fire it up, Tyler. So the Giants, as of right now, they have the number 3 pick in the draft. So simulating this here, Caleb Downs, who I have ranked very high on the big board. He ends up going number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans. Dante Moore goes to the New Orleans Saints as the quarterback there at number 2. Number 3 here, Connor. What do we think? I think the obvious one and probably where our mind goes to immediately is Jordan Tyson.
Yeah.
But do we feel good enough about the wide receiver class where we feel as though it would behoove us to potentially trade down? Right, I look at like Miami there at number 7. Are they going to need a quarterback? The Raiders at number 6, do they need a quarterback? Because I think you could trade down to 6 and 7 and still you're either getting Jordan Tyson or you're farming, or you're getting Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon. I know we have those guys ranked below Tyson, but
right.
What do you think here? I kind of like a trade down here for the Giants.
I do too. The tricky part is, Trevor, there's not an offensive lineman here that's worth it.
Right.
We feel good about their pass rush. We feel good about their quarterback. I have no problem taking Jordan Tyson at all here. It would depend what I can get back for the trade down. And then I get a wide receiver with that trade down and beef up my interior offensive line with the capital I have after that. I think so too.
Let's pull up the draft chart value and kind of talk about this here. Okay, so the number 3 pick, 2,200 points. I'm looking at Draft Tech, and 6 is 1,600, 7 is 1,500. So next to 700. I mean, like, we're talking about getting.
Well, they're not going to trade with the Commanders.
No. Either the Dolphins or the Raiders is what.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure it was on the Commanders. So I was.
No. Yeah, we wouldn't trade with the Commanders there. I think you trade down to 6 or 7.
So the Raiders are coming up
everybody.
For a
I can't help it. Those are the numbers. It's the numbers that we're talking about here.
So the Raiders are coming up for a quarterback, which makes sense.
Yes. I think you're getting their 2nd round pick.
Yep. That's the trade.
For number 3.
Yep. Which is great in this spot because now we have 3 picks for this mock draft.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, force the trade. Screw it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Raiders are up now. Oh, let's go, baby.
And exactly what we
thought.
You
love it when a plan comes together.
That was amazing.
Couldn't have worked better.
So now we still get Tyson or Arbel Reese.
Well, you're not going to.
No, we're not taking Reese, but I'm just saying, like, he'd be in the combo.
Would he?
Yeah, off-ball linebacker demon. You traded. Did we trade
Oh,
Kayvon
I view him
as
an
an edge?
much closer to like Abdul Carter. Like you already have.
Okay,
that
I mean, either way, that's totally fair. I'm taking Jordan Tyson here anyway.
Yeah, W simulator. So we didn't have to trade Kayvon Thibodeau. We were still able to get a wide receiver that we love. We think Jordan Tyson has wide receiver 1 potential in the NFL. Jordan Tyson, Malik Neighbors, Cam Scattaboo, Jackson Dart. I mean, now we're living, baby. Now Darius Slayton by default, honestly, as like the wide receiver 3. But like, I'm cool with Darius Slayton as a wide receiver 3.
That's his role, is a vertical 3.
Totally. Yes. Let's do it. Let's take Jordan Tyson here at number 6. I really like this option here for them. And then we got 2 picks, right? Can you click on your picks, Tyler? Oh yeah. It's 35 and 38 right there.
Yeah, really close together.
Jennings Dunker is still on the board. I mean, that's a home run for me. He starts
because they need guard badly.
But what other spots we? I mean, we're bringing back Jermaine Illuminor as well.
We have to.
So we're bringing back him.
They can't lose their good offensive line pieces.
I liked signing Dylan Parham as well. So at this point, it's Andrew Thomas, opening spot at guard, John Michael Schmitz at center, Dylan Parham at guard, Jermaine Illuminor at offensive tackle.
So do we try to get a combo of Dunker and Sonny Styles here?
Do we think we get Leo Chanel?
That was why we didn't do the DJ Moore trade.
Is because
Chanel's coming over with Spags.
Okay.
It's going to cost some money.
Yeah. So we're getting him. So let's take Dunker. I think, unless you have somebody else
yep.
that you like better. Like I would have thought about Vega Owane from Penn State, who I think is a great guard prospect as well, but he was picked at the back end of the first round. You see him there at 31 to the Seattle Seahawks. Donald is saying, why not have Marcus Bowe at right guard?
Maybe.
I guess you could.
Why don't we keep adding talent to the offensive line?
Yeah, I at this point, I don't even know. I don't really think. I don't think you have too many good offensive linemen at this point.
Is it even nuts to consider Caleb Lomo here?
No, I thought about
Illuminor
that.
can also play guard.
Yeah, I think that would be a little overkill.
We're trying to diversify our roster here.
Let's go corner though.
Yeah, they need a corner. I like the problem is I like Styles so much better as a player than all of these guys. But we said we got Chanel. You're right. We got Chanel and kept Okereke.
Yes, we kept both of those.
Sorry,
guys.
that's okay. So you're keeping us on track here. I'm not.
So I think AJ Harris, Chris Johnson, or Keith Abney. If you think this is more like Keith Abney range.
See, this is where we need to think of Spags' defense, right? It feels like Harris's physicality might play.
Yeah, because can you click Harris, Tyler? Yeah, his run defense grade. I know his coverage grades aren't great this year. Penn State's just struggling a lot overall, but he's run
physical.
Defense,
he's a big physical corner.
His run defense stuff over the last couple of years has been really good. What's Abney's run defense? His good too. All right. And then last one is...
Yeah, this might be... Abney might just be a better cover player than Harris right now.
Maybe, yeah. I still like Harris's potential, but...
I know. I think it might be Abney, though.
I don't hate it. That's who my mind thought of right away.
I really need to deep dive Chris Johnson, and I've been saying that for too long, but I need to really deep dive on the kind of prospect.
So he's definitely a zone corner. He is definitely an off zone corner. He's not really somebody that you would want in man coverage.
He's not a fit here then.
I think that Spags is going to run more of an aggressive defense, and Abney's more of a fit for him. I think Dalen Everett from Georgia is also a fit there. I think Julian Neal is also a fit, but I don't think that you're taking these guys at this point. Let me see. Can we just see all the players overall to make sure we're not missing anybody? We already took wide receiver. We wouldn't take Willie Ungalale. Yeah, it's a lot of edge rushers, some linebacker stuff. Boy, there's a log jam at these defensive positions.
The problem is Styles is just the best player here.
think so, but I'm more than okay having Leo Chanel. All right, I think Abney. Let's take Abney here. Let's take Keith Abney. The corner from ASU.
Tyson Madden said, "You guys make my week. I got to go work now. Peter skipped my allowance this week." That's really good.
Oh, that is too good. Okay, so for this draft, we traded back from 3. We got to 6. We got an extra second-round pick. We got Jordan Tyson, Jennings Dunker to play guard to complete the offensive line, and then we were able to get Keith Abney. Let's refresh it one more time. Let's go through, and let's not do a trade so we can run through a little bit quicker here. Okay, so Peter Woods goes number 1. It's hilarious. Good player, probably not going number 1, but Ruben Bain goes number 2 to New Orleans Saints. Is this a spot where do you think you'd still take Jordan Tyson, or do we want to take an offensive lineman here? Like, would you take Spencer Fano here?
No, I would take Tyson.
You'd still take Tyson?
He's just a better player. Like too wide of a margin.
I think so too.
But we should do something different here.
We should do something different. Let's take Spencer Fano, who I think is the best offensive tackle in the class, and he can. Or do you have a?
I mean, I don't think Newbin's been good enough that Caleb Downs isn't in this conversation.
Oh, interesting.
He's at least in this conversation.
He's a hell of a player, man.
He's amazing.
And you want to talk about somebody who could help out the second level as well.
Yeah, they get gashed for big runs because they have no... The angles are terrible.
Oh, man. Downs on this defense would be sick.
It's so funny how, like, half the people love it and then half the people are like, you can't take a safety.
He's just such a great difference-making player. You know what? Let's see what it looks like. And Giants fans who are watching this...
That's why we do multiple mock drafts.
What'd you say?
That's why we do multiple mock drafts.
Yeah, let's take Caleb Downs here at 3. Let's take Caleb Downs at 3. Because he's just a hell of a football player, man. And now we have the opportunity to... I think Caleb Lomu is still on the board.
That's who I would take.
We could take Caleb Lomu here. And then at that point, it's...
Illuminor back to guard.
It's Andrew Thomas, Illuminor, John Michael Schmitz, Dylan Parham, Caleb Lomu. And then on the defensive side of things, we've added Leo Chanel. We still have Kayvon Thibodeau for now. We have Caleb Downs to play safety and just be, honestly, like a jack of all trades for you on defense. And then we would have to address corner somewhere. Maybe we're getting a vet to play alongside Paulson Adebo and Andrew Phillips, but I'm
Joe
okay
Shane
with that.
hit on a day 3 pick, please.
And then a wide receiver, we'd have to probably go wide receiver round 4, which would probably mean... Can I see the wide receiver list real quick? Scrolling down a little bit. Maybe Omar Cooper, but like it's probably more of Malachi Fields, Trey Wilson, maybe. If he's getting picked in the 4th round, maybe he's Eugene Wilson. Maybe he can't be Trey.
You finally have turned back to that.
Nah, he's still good. I don't know if CJ Daniels will be there from Miami, but like he's an option. Zachariah Branch is playing better. Your boy Eric Rivers, Eric Singleton. I think there'll be some options for you with a wide receiver in round 4. I think you'd be okay with this.
Okay.
All right, let's take Caleb Lomu there. Let's do it. Nick Harbor, risk it. So there we go. We didn't trade down for this one. We went with best player available. We went Caleb Downs, and we still got the offensive tackle to really fix the offensive line. So it was trade down, Jordan Tyson, Jennings Dunker to play guard, and then who was the last pick? Who's the corner? Keith Abney.
Keith Abney, that's right.
And, or this second mock draft that we have here is Caleb Downs and Caleb Lomu. Anybody who's watching this from the one-off video, if you want the context of how we got the roster that we did, you got to watch the full Fix Your Franchise episode for the New York Giants. There we go, friends. Appreciate everybody watching. This is so much fun. I love doing these. It's always a blast. We just fixed the New York Giants.
Took a while. And we didn't even have to hire a GM. We didn't have a lot of money to spend in free agency.
Consulting firm, Mara.
This is the stock exchange plan.
If you need us, let us know. If you guys want to follow the show at NFLSE Show on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, all that good stuff. At Tampa Bay Trey for me, at Connor J. Rogers for him. We're just going to keep this Fix Your Franchise train rolling because so many of you love this series, and we love that you love it because we love doing these episodes. And so we will have 2 Fix Your Franchise episodes for you next week. We'll do one on Monday, we'll do one on Wednesday, and then we'll keep chugging along because you guys really seem to love it. Appreciate everybody who got into the show, in on the chat. This is so much fun for us. Guys, I know you guys give so many super chats that we still didn't get to.
We're grateful for.
You guys are giving us so many super chats, which, like Connor said, we are so grateful for. I think what we're going to try to do is maybe the super chats that we can't get to during shows, Tyler might be able to save them and compile them, and we might just be able to do like a big, almost like mailbag episode and catch up on a lot of it and revisit, some bits and some funny moments with some of those super chats. And because we do want to say thank you for all of those, and we really appreciate you guys giving those. But obviously the shows run pretty long. Anyways, Connor, anything else before we get out of here?
Thank you to everybody in the chat. You guys make this a lot of fun. Great energy in there. Laughing at Alfie Curtis saying, "Cheerio, little pup."
Little pup! Little pup! It's over the line, folks. You guys are over the line. And we
New
love
York
you for
Giants,
it.
you've been pimped.
You've been Oh,
That's your new ride. A 2.2 on IGN. I'm going to think about this all night.
Consider your franchise pimped, New York Giants. Appreciate everybody who watched. Love you guys. For Tyler Cook, for Connor Rogers, I'm Trevor Sikkema saying thank you guys so much for once again watching another episode of the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. See you guys next time.